You are listening to Studio MacGyver's Dragon Ball and Video Game Podcast.
What is going down? What the fuck is going down? It is your boy, Studio McGuyver, and you are listening to Studio McGuyver's Dragon Ball and Video Game Podcast. Today is going to be a Assassin's Creed Valhalla review, discussion, whatever you want to call it. I fucking love this game. Welcome to the podcast for newcomers. If you're new to the show, I'd like to welcome you here. We do this every Monday, same bad time, same bad channel. If you're into video games, if you're into nerd culture, anime, then you come to the right place. We talk about all of that shit here. And yeah, I'm going to get into it, guys. Got a little bit of some Godfall news. The reviews are out. If you guys don't know, which most of you probably do, the PS5 is now officially among us. Well, for you lucky ones at least. And there's been some things said about it. There's been some issues, manufacturer, wise, I guess. Like any console release that comes out, going to talk about some of that. Rent a Girlfriend, which is an anime I just finished up. It's only 12 episodes, but the first season is done. It's wrapped, and I fucking love it. Another anime that I did not expect to love. I'm going to talk about that one a little bit. And some Naruto news. Well, shall I say Boruto from the original creator of Naruto. Just a little bit of news there. So mainly, guys, this podcast is going to be strictly me gushing over Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which is not without its faults. I'm going to get into some of that, but overall, I can honestly tell you guys right now that I am fucking in love with this game. I'm going to get into that, guys, and then some. But anyway, that music that you heard is from the game, and the soundtrack is another aspect that they fucking killed this shit on. Okay. I love the music. I didn't think I was going to love the Viking backdrop as much as I did, but man, I really, really do. Like I said before, I'm going to get to it, guys. Going to talk about some other things real quick, and then we will jump into the Assassin's Creed shit. I am a little bit under the weather, getting sick, trying to keep that shit at bay. So just bear with me, guys. Okay. Anyway, let's begin. I want to talk first about some Naruto news. News for all the Naruto fans in the land, which I am a huge fan of the Naruto series, the Shippuden series, man. I love that series so much, man. I really do. One of my favorite all-time animes out there. And if you aren't familiar with the original creator, Masashi Kishimoto, he is the guy who basically gave us that. He wrote pretty much the premise, the characters, all these things when it comes to Naruto. And, for a while, he hasn't been doing that. He left a while back. I want to say, I can't actually remember the year, but he walked away and he went on to do a manga called Samurai 8, which didn't really do too well. I guess he tried to do some other things and expand on ideas he may have had. But I announced this because he's officially coming back. There was an announcement on Twitter talking about it, where basically he's coming back to take over for Boruto, the series. Now, Boruto, the manga, compared to Boruto, the anime, are two different fucking beasts. They're two different things, man. And, a lot of anime fans like myself kind of, looked at Boruto as a whole as pretty trash because of the anime. Now, if you're not familiar with anime compared to manga, I mean, there's a lot of differences and a lot of different ways in some of the things that goes on in these things. Now, at its core, it's pretty much the same. but there are a lot of subtle changes and sometimes not subtle changes depending on the manga and anime we're talking about. Okay. But, you know, a lot of people were very, very unhappy with the Boruto series, me included. It just, I think people went into it expecting something in the line of Naruto, but it wasn't that. And a lot of people got disappointed by that. I wasn't expecting that. I actually appreciated a lot of things that they did differently because you know, with the time frame and things that were going on in the world and all of that. But my issue was just a lot of the writing for some of the other characters, especially the ones who were from Naruto. You know, they didn't get expanded on. You know, they didn't get expanded on, in my opinion, enough. And for a company or from a series who typically, you know, at least in the anime department, at least, and during Naruto, they made sure that all the characters were taken care of. In other words, you knew their fates. You knew what was going to happen to them. They may not have shown you, you know, right away, but you eventually got the answers you were seeking when it comes to the majority of these characters. I mean, the character detail was one of the things I praised Naruto for. And we didn't get a lot of that for some of the original OG characters, especially one of my favorites, in my opinion, Kakashi. You know what I'm saying? And some of these other guys, you know, you saw a couple appearances, you know, with Mike Guy and, you know, Rock Lee, but not enough emphasis on some of these characters, man, and what they were doing now and, you know, getting them involved in some of the shit that's taking place in the manga now. Now, the manga compared to the anime is doing extremely well even before Kishimoto came back. But I'm just happy to hear that the original creator is back, and I'm anxious to see what he's going to do with some of the other characters. And he hinted at that in his tweet about some of the OG characters, and maybe, you know, we might get some more info, maybe some more things, and hopefully that transitions into the anime, and we'll see where it goes, because the anime has not been very good. And yeah, I'm going to go back and watch it. I'm going to try. I started when it first came out, but you know, there's a lot of catching up to do. So yeah, I've been really busy with a lot of different things, and my anime game is, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, is slipping. I have not been able to watch a lot. I've been able to watch maybe, you know, 3, 4, or 5 episodes this past week. And that, like I said, that was Rent a Girlfriend, which I'm going to talk about a little bit later. And that's it. I mean, but I will definitely get back on track and get caught up on a lot of things. There's a lot of shit happening. December, we have December 7th, I think we have Attack on Titan, the final season coming, which also I might as well go ahead and tell you guys. The creators are talking about 1 to 2% away from being completely done. And that makes sense when you're talking about the final season of the anime, and they're going to kind of run concurrently. And it makes sense that it would be almost done, so that when they do finish it, the manga's done, and then they can just focus on the anime and cleaning the last of that up. It's kind of a close call. They're kind of running neck and neck like that, but you know, it's not far away enough to where it shouldn't be any discrepancies or anything that happens that would limit the anime from being done, you know, or us having to wait so many weeks before we get another episode. Like it's happened for Dragon Ball. It's happened for a lot of different anime. You know what I mean? One Punch Man did it for an extended amount of time. Even Attack on Titan in its own right has done that. I mean, they have their anime has not run concurrent year after year. So there were gaps. So, you know, I mean, it is what it is. We'll get to that bridge when we get to it. But that is that information there. I'm so happy that Kishimoto is back on the scene. And yeah, man, he's an amazing guy. And I hope that he stays on for quite some time. And definitely it's making me want to pick up that Boruto manga, man. It really is. And I'm not a manga guy. You guys know this, especially the ones that's been listening. I am a anime guy. But some anime, man, you just have to step outside and say, yo, let me get a taste of that. You know what I mean? There are certain anime out there that I, you know, would love to expand on, because we get a lot of anime. Let's keep it real, especially a lot of us who watch a shit ton of it. We get a lot of anime that ends up falling by the wayside. It ends up never getting picked up again or getting renewed, but the manga goes on, and you want to find out what the fuck is happening next. And sometimes you can't explain why. Maybe there's a money issue, production issue, usually money, and they end up not happening, which, you know, goes for one of my favorite anime that I recently just discovered not too long ago. I've talked about it like a few times. You guys know I'm talking about Chivalry of a Failed Knight. I love that fucking anime, guys. I bought the Blu-ray, but there's a second half to that story, which, you know, is finished, but it's only in manga where you'll find that. And don't get me wrong, the anime is a fucking masterpiece for what it is, for what you get. And you can technically end it and walk away from it like that. You technically could, and it would end pretty good right there. Kind of like the first season of Sword Art Online. I thought that first season was brilliant. I think they could have left it like that and just walked away, but they kept putting more and more and more because of popularity and things like that. And, you know, it kind of one of those scenarios. So we get a lot of that. And for those reasons is why I would go pick up manga to find out, you know, the second part, what happened completely on the tail end, what finished off, you know, all of that stuff. But I'm going in circles right now. The medication is starting to kick in. And let's get on with the motherfucking show. Okay. Now let's get back. Let's jump on some PS5. I want to talk about PS5, guys. It's out here now. It's in these digital streets. A lot of lucky motherfuckers have got them in their homes. And, you know, I'm not one of them. I'm one of those guys that I choose to wait, and I'm going to choose to wait for it to come for a number of reasons. And I'm definitely going to get into that in two shakes of a lamb's tail, but it's out now and mostly everybody's enjoying it, especially the fucking fast, ultra fast load times when it comes to starting the console up from just, in-game playing and waiting for load times and things of that nature. It's literally non-existent now. I mean, there are no fucking load times in these games now. And it's going to be very strange if you play it long enough and then you decide to go back to your PS4 for whatever reason, and you'll definitely see the load times are atrocious in comparison. Okay. Right now, my mind is not, you know, regulated to, I guess, wanting that or needing that speed because I haven't experienced it yet. I can see it. I hear people talking about it, but that's it. That's where we draw the line. But I say that to say this, I'm not going to get a PS5. Well, I'm not going to be able to if I wanted to, but I'm waiting for it to become available in my local area, in my stores, where I can just go into a GameStop or I can go into a Target or whatever, Walmart, and just grab one. Because here's the reason for me personally. There have been, which it happens to everything that comes out, whether it's a TV, whether it's a fucking game system, things come out and sometimes you get a faulty device. Now, I hope anybody or everybody listening understands that, you know, there were going to be some faulty Sony PS5s, just like there were some faulty next gen Xboxes that were out there as well. They've been posting them on fucking Twitter and the internet everywhere. The PS5 has had some issues with noises. Strange noises, refrigerator-like noises, software issues, you know, when you do certain things to the console where it fucks things up and it does strange things. There's been these type of issues with the system, and, you know, that's going to happen. I mean, anytime you're producing 1 million consoles, let's just give us a rough estimate number and just say 1 million. Out of those 1 million, you're probably going to get, you know, between 400 and 500, maybe. I might even say that many. You might get 200 to 300 easily, you know, faulty systems. And you could, you know what I mean? I mean, that's just the nature of the beast. I mean, nobody's perfect. It could have been a humor error in there, maybe a soldering issue, something like that. Who fucking knows, guys? But it happens. And sometimes people get that luck of the draw and they get that system. But that reason right there, you know, okay, if it happens to you, say you ordered your shit from, I don't know, Amazon, or you ordered from, you know, I don't know, some game company in another country or some shit like that, and you got it and it's faulty, you have to go through regulations to get that shit shipped back, and you have to wait a number of weeks and all of those things, man. Anybody paying $500+ for something, they're not going to want to, you know, sit there and wait for that. They want to get right to it. I mean, that's a lot of money, okay, for most of us. And, you know, you don't want to have to go through that if you don't have to. Okay. And that's what a lot of people are doing. And locally buying it, I can just take the shit right back to where I bought it from and get another one. Okay. That simple, that fast. And that's one of the reasons why I'm doing that. That's really the main reason why I'm doing that, because it it's just quicker. I can get it that day. I don't have to worry about anything. And there you have it. Okay. And some people might not give a fuck about that, and that's cool. But me personally, man, that's just the way that I would like to roll. But back to the PS5, there's been a lot of games that came out, and one of those is Spider-Man Miles Morales. And that game apparently is a fantastic experience, guys. They have done some great things with it. And of course, if you guys aren't familiar, it's not a whole game. So don't think that, oh, this game is going to be a fully fledged game, even though it's selling brand new for $50. An average PlayStation game brand new is $70. Okay. This game is supposedly about half the length of the regular Spider-Man game, which is roughly about 10 to 12 hours of playtime if you play the story and you get all that stuff done. And IGN has given it a 9 out of 10. Metacritic has given it 85 at the point of at this podcast that I'm recording it. Could go up a little bit. Push Squared 8 out of 10. So it's got very good scores, and then a lot of the user scores are higher. You got a lot of 9.5, 10 out of 10s on the user scores. Okay. And that's a great thing, especially for a game that's not completely a fully fleshed out experience, but it's enough to give you, it's enough of a gameplay experience to put you in that world and to satisfy all the Spider-Man fans and just action gamers, people who enjoy those type of games. And that's what I was looking for. I was looking for, what people are talking about, all of these things out of this. And the 60 frames, is definitely a life changer. It's a game changer. The load time's a game changer, and just the look of the game and the things that you can do in this game. Everybody has said it's great things. They took out the shit that was annoying in the first Spider-Man game. If you haven't played the first Spider-Man game, there were some, set pieces in that game that shouldn't, in my opinion, have been in there. And a lot of people say the same thing. There were parts in there where you had to play as different characters, and they were just slow, clunky kind of experiences, and they just slowed down the pace of the game. And there were none of those in this game. Even the puzzles in the Spider-Man game, you kind of just had to come to a steal and then come up and do this kind of, this puzzly thing. I don't even know how to describe it, but that is gone. This different way that they have you implementing puzzles in this game, but it's more of an action based kind of go with the flow type of thing. There's a lot of things that they listened and they put in the work and they made it happen. And I can't lie. I mean, this is a game I want to play. I don't know about spending $50 on it, but I would definitely add this to the library. No doubt about that, especially with a price drop or whatever. And that's what I plan to do. But yeah, Spider-Man Miles Morales, if you guys are feeling a certain type of way about it, you don't need to. If you're looking for that next Spider-Man fix, this is probably going to be it right here. So definitely pick that up whenever you see fit to do so. Now, another game that has that I at first glance when they first announced it, I was kind of excited about, but now up until it's out now, it's released now, and a lot of people now are feeling kind of basically meh about the game. A lot of people are calling it trash as far as at least the story and how that stuff is written. But I'm talking about Godfall. It's a PlayStation exclusive. It's an online only game, which you can play solo most of the time, but you can also join with friends. And this is a game that has basically gotten, IGN has given it a 6 out of 10, Metacritic 63% as of this podcast. And yeah, it's about a 10-hour campaign. It's not very long. The story, like I said, people have said, more than enough people have said it is straight trash. The story is, and it's not worth the full price. Okay. Now, a lot of people are talking about this is probably going to be a game ending up being a free to play game at some point, and it probably will. I can't specify when, but there were some good things about this game, though, that a lot of people also had to say. Even IGN and some of these other people who were saying that, the game wasn't very good in a lot of aspects, but there were some things that were dope about this game, and one of them being the graphics, of course. Okay. I think none of us are going to be able to argue about most of the games coming out now for the PS5 and the Xbox Series X. They're going to be beautiful. Okay. The graphics are going to be A1 steak sauce. We're not going to have to talk about that for the most part. Graphics should not be a problem in this next gen. If it is, then there's a serious problem with the devs in doing their jobs. I think that's what that is, but that is not a problem with it. they were saying that the story and all of that was a big mess, and the combat is pretty good, but they say that it kind of stalls out after a while and gets kind of repetitive, but see, if this is an online only game, they could do a few things with this. Okay. They could elaborate on this game. They could add things to this game because they already have They already have a season pass, and so that there's gonna be more content. And I think if they can elaborate on some of this stuff, like the combat and some other things, maybe even story, put new DLCs and stuff like that in place, then maybe you might have a chance to resurrect that score a little bit and push that up. You know what I mean? And you also have to remember, this is a day one release of the system. So we won't be talking about this game a year from now. I can almost guarantee it, with everything, especially coming out for the PlayStation 5, as opposed to the Xbox Series X, when we're talking about exclusives here, because exclusives are what rule the fucking world. But at the same time, there are some sweet spots that the Xbox does present. And it's just why I decided to go ahead and make that purchase, as well. Third party games, Xbox. First party games, Sony, all day long. You know what I mean? That's what that is. Hopefully they can improve on that, though. We'll see what happens with that, and we'll go from there. But I'm looking forward to Final Fantasy 16 and God of War. Those are the two games right now off the top of my head that are coming in 2021, and those are like the big game changers for me right now. Now, who knows what else is coming? Who knows what else? Also, Demon Souls looks fucking amazing, and I think I'm gonna have to get into that world as well because it looks fucking amazing. But yeah, man, that's where we're at. Even the character creation. Let me just add this real quick. The character creation on Demon Souls looks breathtaking, man, compared to the last one. It really does. You can literally make whoever the fuck you want and make them beautifully ugly if you want to in this game, which is another game that has been getting a lot of praise. That game has been getting 9s. It's averaging 9s out of 10s. Some people are giving it 10 out of 10s. Okay. And deservingly so. That is a game that Bluepoint has fucking killed it on. Bluepoint is a company who does a lot of remakes. They've done, they've done Shadows of the Colossus, one of my favorite all time games ever. And they just do great jobs, man, with remakes. I can't wait to see what their next project is going to be, to be honest. I can't fucking wait. I want to see. I want to fucking know. Yeah. Okay, now let's get off of the PS5 train, because honestly, guys, it's making me a little sick because I don't have one, and it hurts. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. It fucking hurts a little bit, and it's cool. I need to get over that. I need to have something for the sake of having it, because that's pretty much what it really is. You know what I mean? A lot of people have it, and that's cool. But I will get it. It will, get into the man cave. It will be here soon when it's available, and I will definitely let you guys know what I think about it and all of the bells and whistles and everything like that. One more thing on the PS5 note, and this goes for Xbox too. You can put that in the same category before I move on. Another cool thing about waiting, if you want to call it cool, is the fact that there probably will be another software update before I get my hands on it, before most of us who wanted one but couldn't get one get our hands on it. Like I said, there were some software issues with certain things, with some of these things, and they always elaborate. They did it with the PS4, so many different updates, and being able to do some of the things that it does now that it was not able to do day one. So I'm very excited about the updates that we're going to be getting, as far as, our displays are concerned and how that stuff works, and all those little bells and whistles for the next gen system. So, I will let them gladly work out all the kinks and get all this stuff done. And then when they release another batch into the wild, get my hands on those. That's the thing. The scalpers are fucking losing their minds right now. They're selling these systems, guys, literally for thousands of dollars. Okay. Their eBay has, one up there, more than one up there for over $2,000. Okay. That's what they're doing right here. And that is a travesty. And a lot of people are doing it, are buying it. A lot of people are saying, fuck it, and doing it, and hey, if that's what you want to do, fine, go ahead, by all means. But I will not be doing that, guys. I will be simply waiting for a couple more months, and maybe not even that long, and the shit will be available everywhere. And then, those fuckers who are trying to scalp, they will have no choice but to sell them regular price. Okay. And that'll be it. That's all you got to do. Just a little bit of patience goes a long way with this kind of stuff. If you just wait a minute, I've seen it happen with all kinds of shit, figures, all kind of things. And then when the market opens up and they're everywhere, then they're basically, their ship starts to sink and they have to get rid of them. You have no choice. The market dictates the movement. So you just wait a little bit. When we get them all stocked up and we don't have to worry about where we're going to get our next box from, we're good. And that should be pretty soon. So I'll wait and we'll get there when we get to it. Now, one last thing I want to talk about before I jump into the main topic of discussion here is an anime that I just finished called Rent a Girlfriend. Now it's on Crunchyroll. It's also English dub and it's in, Japanese. I highly recommend this one for my English dub listeners. Even if you're not, I recommend this one. The English dub is very good, very fucking good. If you're just looking for an anime that is like just something you just never thought you'd see or you just want to jump outside that box, I encourage everybody who watches anime to do that, man. I really do. Get out of your comfort zone when it comes to anime. If you're used to watching a certain type of anime and you love a certain type, that's fine. Your genre, nobody can take that away from you. But there's nothing wrong with adding to your palate. There's nothing wrong with adding an extra side dish, some mashed potatoes to your steak. Okay. Some green beans to your chicken. There's nothing wrong with that. All right. And you're missing out. You really are. I say the same thing with music, because when it comes to music, I listen to all kinds of shit. Even way back when I was a kid in high school. I mean, people used to like look at me like I was purple because I wasn't listening to, if I was listening to anything outside of, rap or whatever it was, they were looking at me like I was crazy. And, you water down the content of your life if you do that with anything. You can't, just subject yourself to just one thing, especially in that realm where you choose to be. One of my realms is anime. One of my realms, I love to live in is that world. So, I, for so many years, focused on one genre, and that was shonen. That was action. That was the Dragon Ball Z, that Naruto stuff, But even Naruto showed me that it opened up a slight gateway to what anime could also be. It wasn't all about shonen. It was also, very serious, very sad at the same time. There were instances where, it gave me these other emotions, and I wanted more of that, but I didn't know where to find it, or I didn't know where to begin. And it took a couple of recommendations of a couple of listeners to, recommend me some other things and actually, take them up on it and give it a fucking chance. And I mean, I never looked back since. I mean, the first one was High Score Girl. I'll never fucking forget it. And ever since then, man, I have been open to pretty much anything. Okay. Yes. And like I said, just open your palette, man. Just expand. And if you think, you hate something, I didn't even think I was going to like Naruto. I mean, it's just, I didn't, which is why I hadn't watched it for so many years, but I had to give it a chance, even though it was a shonen anime. But it just, character design and all that just didn't look really presentable to me. But then I got into that world, and now I appreciate everything about it and love it that much more for it. And I say that just with anything you pick up. If you love food, explore more food options. You may be very, very surprised. But take that recipe, move it to wherever you like. I'm begging all of you guys to do the same for anime. Rent a Girlfriend is just one of those anime that it has nothing to do with shonen at all whatsoever fucking ever. I mean, you can call it a harem anime in a sense, but you can call it a slice of life. It's basically about a boy. I've talked about it before, who had a girlfriend, and his girlfriend broke up with him. Okay. He was a college kid, and he was so depressed or whatnot. He decided, to rent a girlfriend. Went online, found a girl he, liked, and rented her. Okay. Went on a date with her and all these things. And next thing you know, there's where complications came in. Next thing you know, he started flaunting her around. He started, even to his grandmother who was sick in the hospital and all these things, and giving her hope. And, she wanted grandkids and wanted him to get married. All this crazy shit started happening. All his friends. So now everybody thinks they're actually boyfriend and girlfriend, and trying to keep up this facade is crazy. Okay. But at the same time, she doesn't want her grandmother to know that she's a rent-a-girlfriend. So put that in the pot, stir it all up. Then you got his ex-girlfriend looking in, and now all of a sudden she's jealous. And there's more to it than that. There's way more to it than that. But that's where the shit starts, and the shit gets crazy. And, you know, the girl is telling him, yo, I'm just a rental girlfriend. So, you know, once this date is over, once you pay me my money, I'm done. But, you know, she starts to develop feelings for him, and he's in love with her. And there's even more to it than that. There's other girls that get involved in the story. Like, so many different things, man. I'm telling you right now. And I didn't think I was going to love it, but I love this anime. And I was so mad when I finished up the last episode the other night. I loved it though. But it's on Crunchyroll. It may be available other places. I highly recommend this one. It's 12 episodes, you guys. I really want to hear what you guys think about this one. Somebody out there listening, go to Crunchyroll if you haven't. Check this one out and hit me and inbox me and let me know how you feel about this anime. Okay, I'm recommending this anime. I'm officially recommending this anime to you guys out there right fucking now. Go watch the shit, please. Rent a girlfriend. All right. Let's get to the lecture at hand, the elephant in the fucking room. Let's talk about the game that I have been waiting for, a game that me personally, I thought was just going to be a placeholder for Cyberpunk 2077. And boy, I couldn't be any wronger. Something told me I was wrong, because I love all the modern day Assassin's Creed games, and each game after the one before it was better. I don't know how, I don't know why. We're going to talk about some of it. It's just the best one so far. It is the best one out of all three that I've played. And each one that I play more of than the other one. Like, I haven't even finished Assassin's Creed Origins or Assassin's Creed Odyssey. And I've played over 300 hours between those two games. Okay. And still didn't finish them. All right. Now, this game here, I don't know how many hours have I put in this game. When I say this game has taken over my life since the day it came out, since Tuesday, I am not lying to you guys. I've been playing this every day, all day. That's all I've been doing. That's really why I haven't been watching much of anything. Okay. TV wise, what I've watched this past week was probably been a couple hours of TV time. That's it. Maybe 2.5 hours of TV time this whole week. The rest have been in this fucking game. Okay. I have not watched The Mandalorian. I'm 2 episodes behind on The Mandalorian, guys. Okay. That tells you right there. I don't have a whole hour to commit to a show. It's really 2 hours now. Like, I don't want to be away from this game. Like, literally, I cannot wait to get done with this podcast because I'm jumping back into this game. That is how dope this game is to me. And I didn't think it was going to be this fucking good. And it's great. Okay. It's not perfect. And I'll get into the technical aspects of it. But other than that, man, I mean, so far, if I had to give it a score right now, I'm giving it a 9.5. Okay. 9.5 out of 10. And the reason I'm giving it that is because the 5 points, or the 0.5, is coming from the technical aspect of the game. That's it. That is just, and that is all. Okay. Because there's been glitches. There have been a couple of crashes that I've experienced. I want to say since I've played it, I've been playing it for at least 40 hours, maybe. And there's been about 3 crashes. About 3 crashes so far. And yeah, I mean, that's really it. Just from a technical aspect, you know, it's not the most technical sound game. But other than that, everything else, as far as you want to talk about the weapons. Now, a lot of people have a love-hate relationship with the way they've done the weapons. Okay. And I'll get into that in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. I really will. But how can I put this? I prefer the more intimate style of the way they present these weapons. And what I mean by that is they don't give you as many weapons as they did in the previous games. And they want you to basically find, you know, a handful of weapons. You know, you might have 7, 8 different weapons, you know, in the game. And they want you to basically get attached to it. And what they did with the system is any weapon you find or any piece of armor that you have, you can take that armor and you can invest in that piece of equipment and make it like a legendary piece. Okay. So anything you find, you can turn it into a legendary piece if you spec into it all the way. So basically they encourage you to find something you like and say, you know what, I really love this one here. I'm going to go here and I'm going to get this one and I'm going to spec into it and raise it up. And each time you spec into it, it changes the way it looks. It looks a little better, a little cleaner, a little more refined. And, you know, that system, I like that system. I like the way that system is, because in the other games, you know, there were so many different weapons, so many different pieces of armor that you got lost in it. You just got lost in it. It was just too much micromanagement when it comes to some of that stuff, man. And it kind of, you were consumed by that. It took away from the game itself, the gameplay and the exploration and all of those things, in my opinion. This kind of does away with that. And I really like it. Some people don't. Some people like the idea of having all these options and all these different things, but, you know, not me. That's one thing I enjoyed about this game. Another thing I really loved about this game so far that I love is the story, like how they're doing it, the backdrop, you know, your Vikings, your setback. This game takes place 200 to 300 years before the first Assassin's Creed game. So also keep that in mind. I really love these games, the style, like the you know, Odyssey's backdrop was dope as well. But this one here is, man, I mean, some of the environments, some of the areas that you find and you go to, they're just so beautiful. It's got so much history in there, and I just love walking around and just being in there. These open world games, like I said, guys, open world, you know, RPG, action RPG games, these are my favorite genre of game. Okay. This is my favorite genre right here. Third person, open world, just go out here and do things and just to your heart's content. I love that. This is what I love. So that I'm a little biased towards already, but you know, that aside, this game is definitely a must experience. And it's long. It's a super long game, just like all the other Assassin's Creed games are. So get ready to sink some time in here. You could probably go through the story in about 60 to 70 hours. But there's so many other things to do. You could easily go to 150, 200 hours if you really wanted to just get in there and do everything. If you really did. And I'm one of those guys, especially with Cyberpunk coming around the corner, and I know I'm going to lose myself in that game. So it gives me enough time to where I can just do everything I wanted to do in this game now before that game comes out, and I won't regret doing that. You know what I mean? And then after playing Cyberpunk for a while, I can go back and do some, you know, DLC content or do some extra content in that game. But as far as, you know, what you can do and just how things are different, I mean, the raids. I love the raids. I love raiding. I love doing raids. I love just finding an area and just taking me and my guys and just going in and taking it over. I love it. I love that about the game. I love the fact that, you know, the Viking, the lore, you know, I'm a sucker for lore, and lore is one of these things that I love in the game. That you actually run into a couple of assassins in the story. And like I said, this happened before the first Assassin's Creed, and they were called what were they called? There's a nickname that they're called in the game now, because they're technically not assassins yet. They're not, I can't figure it out. I can't think of it right now, but I'll leave that for you to discover when you play the game. It's a lot of meat and potatoes, man, in here. And I haven't even like brushed the surface. That's what's so crazy. A lot of my time in this game, of my 40 hours, have been, you know, exploring and going after certain weapons that I wanted, and armor and things of that nature. I haven't, like, if you look at my breakdown of everything that I've done, I still got a lot, and I do mean a lot to do in this game. And, you know, I'm loving every fucking minute of it. So I say that to say you need to pick this up. Okay, if you're a fan of the Assassin's Creed games, you need to pick it up, especially the older Assassin's Creed games. This is another thing I need to address, because, you know, if you're a fan of the older ones where it was all about assassinating, all about blending in and waiting for that right opportunity and things of that, if you really truly wanted to play like an assassin, you couldn't necessarily do that in the last two games. I mean, in the first game, in the second game, you didn't even have a a blade. You had like some sort of knife or some shit. I forgot what they called it. But this one, you actually have your blade, and it was given to you by one of these assassins and in training. And it also, you get the chance to actually be an assassin. You can literally, go in and not be seen and get your objective done. And even some of the assassin animations, like where you walk up to them and you fucking just stick them and just walk away casually, like, back in the older games. I love that you can do those things, and that's what makes it beautiful. The hood is what I'm saying. The hood, where you basically, when you go into assassin mode, you go into, blend in mode, you throw your hood up and you kind of just blend in, your cape comes out. That is in this game. And that should make a lot of Assassin's Creed fans happy. But you get the best of both worlds in this game. I think you get to do it that way, but you also can, run up and take people out any way you fucking see fit, and especially the gadgets you have at your disposal now, which brings me to the skill tree. The skill tree is the biggest skill tree I think I can remember in any game. I don't think I have ever seen a skill tree bigger than this skill tree. It expands crazily, and that's another thing that makes the game so fucking dope, is because you pick one fork, which are 3 starting out, and I think one is bear, one is wolf, and the other one is god damn it, I can't think of it right now. There's 3 different ones. You branch off into them, and there's so many things to open up and see. Just so many great things. But this game brings you dual wielding weapons. So you can dual wield weapons now. You can do 2 axes. You can do 1 axe, 1 hammer. All these things. You can do a shield in a weapon. Then they have 2-handed weapons. Okay. They have the great swords. They have the long axes, weapons like that, which you can use. And it is 2-handed weapons. But there's a perk you can actually unlock in the game that will allow you to dual wield huge big weapons. So you can do a long sword, a great sword in one hand, and you can do a shield in the other. And that's what I'm experiencing right now. I finally unlocked that that ability, which I can use, and I'm having a lot of fun with the great sword and the shield now, because I love my shield. I'm a shield guy. The parry game with the bigger shield, your parry game is a little bit better. The window is a little bit bigger, and I just love parrying and then finishing off my enemies. I really do. And this is the hammer is my go-to, because it's got a shit ton of stun damage. But I also like the great sword, and now that I opened up that, I'm using the great sword and shield, so I'm running around with that build for a little bit, and I'm gonna see where it takes me. But yeah, man, I mean, I say that to say that you have options to make your character the way you want to make them. You could also be stealth based. There's a lot of things you can do. And once you start expanding on those moves and on that skill tree, that's when the game really, really starts to open up and show you things. Like I'm on a battlefield, okay, and there's this ability that I have where if there's any sword laying around, either from a dead enemy or whatever, you can push triangle and it will in stream, and while you're fighting, in the middle of fighting, and you'll pick it up and you'll fucking throw it like a spear into whoever's in front of you. Okay. And usually those are instant kills, or if it doesn't instant kill them, it takes a shit ton of damage off of them. And I think it puts them on the ground, but it's one of those, I didn't think I was going to like it, but I had to get it to get to another skill tree that I was trying to get to. So I said, okay, fuck it, I'll use it. And I fell in love with that. I need that in my arsenal, especially like when we do raids and there's a lot of enemies there. And what's also cool about this game and most Assassin's Creed games, when you kill somebody, they're dead. I mean, they don't disappear. Like, you know what I mean? Like they're on the ground and they're dead. So you can come back and you'll still see them laying there. And that's the dope thing. So when they die and drop a weapon, that weapon is there. It's there for you to pick up and use, and throw it to somebody or throw it into somebody. The combat is it's, how can I put it? It's more grounded than Odyssey, which you don't have a lot of magics and a lot of those type of things. But what makes it cool is it's so savage. It's something that a Viking would do. It's savagery is, man, at its finest here. And once you start specking into the skill tree, man, like I said, all the passive skills are crazy. That's what I find myself using most in this game. I barely use the other abilities that you use when your adrenaline fills up. I don't use them a lot. That's something I've never experienced before, because on Assassin's Creed Odyssey, man, I'm using my other ones like fucking hotcakes. Okay. Not here. So it's a different way of playing it. Every time they put one out, it's just the game gets different. And I just appreciated that about Ubisoft. That's one thing I can give them. Every game, Assassin's Creed game comes out, it's different, and it feels different. And this one definitely feels different. Also, you have a stamina gauge now. I'm sorry. And you have to watch where you're swinging and all of that so that you don't exert yourself. And that comes into play a lot now when you're fighting bosses and things of that nature. So you just got to stay on your guard, man. And the cool thing I like about the shield is the shield blocks. So, and you can parry. So you have to hit the button at the right time while you're being swung on. And attacks have to be a certain kind of attack. But the cool thing is about the shield, it's realistic in the fact that if you don't time the parry perfectly, you still don't really take any damage. You still get your block. So you get a chance to like really tell your actual self, do I really want the shield, or do I want to put another weapon in the other hand and be more of a offensive kind of character or whatever? Me personally, I love the shield, and it will never leave my arsenal. I will always keep the long shield, and I just really love the shield. I enjoy it. So like I said, the game is beautiful. If you switch hands, because your number one hand is where you get most of the sword swings and different movements, and you do the most with that hand, but the other hand is more of a support hand. You get one action with it. Now there is a perk you can get where you can basically swap your weapon. So if you have two weapons in your hand, a sword and, a shield, you can swap your, I think you hold down R2 and you click R3 and you switch the weapons, and then you switch your combat style slightly. Okay, so now the shield is in the right hand, the main hand, and it becomes the weapon. So you can swing your shield at enemies. It's got a high stun rate. Also, you can, if you hit R2, you go into like a charge mode with it and knock your opponent back. So there's that. And once you get fluid in what you do, it gets really good and becomes really, really beautiful, man. And it's so fun. It really is. I am enjoying my time with the guys. I don't know what else to say about the game. The fact that it's a great game, and I knew it was going to be good. I just didn't know it was going to be this good. Okay. And I really can't wait to play it on next gen. I really want to play 60 frames. I really want to play it on the PS5 and experience it that way. I would love to do that. So maybe a second playthrough will warrant that, and we'll see what happens. But definitely, if you're asking, should you buy this game, you should definitely buy it. And don't think that, oh, this is just like Odyssey, because it's not. It is not. It is really two different games. Okay. There's a lot of things different. You don't have in Odyssey, you also had those boat fights, where you had your ship and you spec'd into your ship and you actually had battles, which was cool. But that wasn't my favorite thing in Odyssey. This one, you don't have that. You're on a boat, but you don't necessarily battle. You're going from place to place with your crew, and the boat's smaller. It's more, more intimate, and you go from place to place. You need to raid if you can. Also, if you're in an area that is a troubled area, you don't need your boat. You can go in there solo. You can knock out some people and then get in there and then call your guys in from there. So there's a lot of different things that this game incorporates than the other ones did. So I'm not going to give you everything. I'm not going to give you all the gems, but that's some of it. And you should definitely give this one a try. It definitely needs to be in your library. Put it like that. If you're a fan of the Assassin's Creed series, even though in the original as well, because some people say, well, I really like the original more so. Well, guess what? You need to try this one. You definitely need to try this one. So and that's all I'm gonna say about it. I'll leave it there and let you guys check it out for yourself if you're not playing it now. Okay. And that is my review of the game. I told you earlier on, I gave it a 9.5 out of 10. And it's basically just because of those technical difficulties with the game, which, with a couple more updates, if you guys wait, shouldn't be too much of a problem. After about a month from now, it should be mostly cleaned up. Yeah, and that's it. And that's all. And that's going to do it for the show. I want to thank everybody for coming out downloading the show, streaming the show. All the newcomers, thank you for listening. I hope to see you again. We do this every Monday, same bad time, same bad channel. We talk about anime. We talk about video games. And yeah, we talk about nerd culture, man. This is what it is, and this is what it was. This is your boy, Studio MacGyver. If you want to reach me anywhere out there on social media, it's easy to do so. You can hit me on Twitter at Studio MacGyver. You can hit me on Instagram at StudioMaguyver79. Check out the Facebook page. That's at Studio MacGyver as well. And also check out the YouTube channel, guys. Subscribe to the channel would help me out a lot. That's Studio MacGyver TV. T.V. All right. I'm going to leave you guys with that. I love each and every one of you. Thank you for listening. All my day ones. I love you so much. Everybody giving me support. I just want to say it's been a dream come true to have this podcast do what it's doing right now. The numbers are crazy. Who knows where it can take me? We could go to the next level, guys. This next year, I plan on doing something different for you guys a little bit to shake things up. And I hope you appreciate it all. This is Studio MacGyver, and you have been listening to Studio MacGyver's Dragon Ball and Video Game Podcast. See you next time.